Coming up on Mountain News this morning, folks in Laurel County took a stand for the man killed by a London police officer nearly 2 weeks ago. Plus, Governor Beshear made a stop in Perry County on Friday.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning and thanks for joining us. I'm Madison Carmouche. We're just past 5:30 this Monday morning and we're going to go ahead and check in with meteorologist Megan Dusmall for a look at your forecast this morning. Megan, there is some serious weather out there and people should definitely be at home watching Mountain News this morning, not out on those roads.
I have to agree with that. Staying indoors is the best way to keep yourself safe today and definitely yesterday as we had that snow falling in eastern Kentucky. So being weather aware is the best thing you can do. Downloading that WYMT First Alert Weather app if you don't already have it download. And you can also check the website. We have web articles, 2 of them, one that I made this morning and one that's been tracking this with viewer photos and links to those closings. As well as the alerts. Now let's look at what you can expect on the road today and as you're heading out the door if it is unavoidable for you to be leaving. Current visibility is heightened, especially as you're traveling more towards the north, looking at 0.8 mile visibility in Jackson and 0.3 mile visibility in Pikeville. We do have some bit of rain that came through this morning and another round is starting to pick up as you're traveling more to the western counties in our area. Current temperatures though are on the chillier side of things. Now if you are more to the west, that's when you're going to start to see the effect from the warm front that came through. We're looking at the 40s. Now don't be fooled. It's going to get cold. We're going to see the cold front come through in the earlier hours around that 9 o'clock and temperatures will drop throughout and you can see that on the next 12 hours with that temperature trend. It's going to get cold today and stay cold as you're heading into the overnight hours. Madison.
All right, Megan, thank you. We are still working to get answers regarding a deadly London police shooting. Kentucky State Police say an officer shot and killed Douglas Harless at his home in Lilly. That happened nearly 2 weeks ago, and police have still released limited details. Knowing London police officers once wore body cameras, Samantha Valentino filed an open records request for the footage from the night of the shooting. But as she explains, police say there is no body camera footage from that night.
In 2016, the London Police Department announced their officers had started wearing body cameras.
It takes that stationary camera from the car and it puts it on the officer and it becomes more mobile.
The department said they obtained 35 cameras and an accompanying computer server for $45,000, paid for using federal dollars seized during criminal investigations. The cameras were to be worn during any law enforcement activity.
After wearing their cameras, officers called them helpful, saying they allowed the community to see how they interact with the public.
It lets the public see how we are, that we are human. We're not these robots out there just mindlessly going around, you know, unruly treating people.
On December 23rd, Kentucky State Police say a London police officer shot and killed Douglas Harless at his home. While KSP initially made no mention of whether Harless was armed at the time, 3 days after the shooting, London police said he was armed and pointed a gun at officers. WKYT's open records request for body camera footage from that night was denied. We were told the footage doesn't exist. Now, through another records request, we've learned London police no longer wear body cameras. According to this directive from then-Chief Chuck Johnson, the department, quote, temporarily suspended their use on March 15th, 2023. He wrote that many of the cameras were broken and the department was responsible for the cost of the server, as well as keeping someone on staff to process open records requests for the footage. Former Chief Johnson said in December 2022, the department received a quote for $30,000 for 30 new cameras and cloud storage, noting the cost would increase every year. He said, quote, the department is examining the feasibility of body-worn cameras based on the cost and benefits. In Laurel County, Samantha Valentino, WKYT.
The Laurel County community is taking their efforts to get answers in that shooting to the streets of London. A Justice for Doug march was hosted Saturday morning at 11:30. It started in the London Big Lots parking lot. The plan was then for the march to end across the street from the London Police Department. Doris Lawson, a friend of Harless's for 15 years, says she organized this to bring him justice.
He was an innocent man at home, in bed asleep, had plans to be with his family Christmas Eve and Christmas, and that was taken.
Lawson is planning another march for January 25th at 11:30 in the morning. That march will also be down Main Street in London, starting at Big Lots. The Laurel County Sheriff's Department is investigating a shooting. It happened approximately 4 miles south of London. A man was shot and has a serious non-life-threatening injury. James Smith was arrested and charged with first-degree assault. Also in Laurel County, 5 people were charged in connection with a drug bust. The bust is connected with 17 people that were arrested in December following a months-long investigation. Joshua Gambrell, Donnie Messer, Harrison Hoskins, Annette Alexander, and Stephen Neely were all arrested. Hoskins and Alexander have since been released from jail. Police say there have now been 22 people arrested in connection with the case. In Pike County, 2 people are behind bars after police found fentanyl and other drug paraphernalia during a traffic stop. The incident happened last Monday when police noticed that a man was driving 15 miles per hour over the speed limit. Police later smelled marijuana from the vehicle. Adam Baker told police marijuana was inside the vehicle. Police told him and Brianna Owens to get out of the car. That is when they noticed Owens had fentanyl and other paraphernalia. The FBI revealed new details about the attacker who killed 14 people in New Orleans on New Year's Day. Officials are investigating trips he took to Egypt in 2023 and whether he had outside help plotting his attack. Bradley Blackburn has more.
New video suggests the attack in New Orleans New Year's Day could have been even more deadly. The FBI says security cameras show the attacker placing multiple improvised explosive devices around Bourbon Street early New Year's Day that did not detonate because of a mistake he made in assembly.
He didn't use the correct device to set it off, and that is just indicative of his inexperience and lack of understanding.
Officials say what unfolded when he rammed his truck into victims, killing 14, was an act of terrorism. The attacker, Shamsuddin Jabbar, had proclaimed support for ISIS. And while the FBI still believes he acted alone, they are investigating trips he took to Egypt and Canada in 2023 and 2 previous visits to New Orleans. They say in October 2024, he used Meta smart glasses with embedded cameras to record these videos of Bourbon Street plotting his attack.
We have not seen any indications of an accomplice in the United States, but we are still looking into potential associates in the U.S. and outside of our borders.
Saturday night in the French Quarter, crowds gathered for a vigil with moments of silence and music distinct to the city. The family of one of those killed, Terrence Kennedy, spoke to CBS News.
My brother was a jolly person. My brother wasn't no violent person. You know, for somebody to just take his life away.
Louisiana's governor has ordered a day of mourning for each of the victims beginning Monday. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
New Orleans mayor says she has asked the White House for more security resources for the upcoming Super Bowl and Mardi Gras. President Biden will visit New Orleans this week to meet with victims' families and officials. Governor Andy Beshear visited Perry County on Friday to make a housing announcement. He says survivors of the July 2022 flood can request housing on the website housingcan'twait.org. 7 high ground sites are under construction or are completed, with sites in Letcher, Floyd, Knott, and Perry counties. The governor says nearly 100 homes will be built at the Skyview site in Perry County.
We know there's a lot of interest to submit the interest form, and then FAHI is going to reach out and work everybody through that application process. But we're going to be building this spring homes all over eastern Kentucky. I want to thank Perry County Judge
Hazard Mayor Happy Mobellini and Perry County Judge Executive Scott Alexander joined the governor, as well as folks with the Federation of Appalachian Housing Enterprises and the Housing Development Alliance. Just ahead, a recap of last night's Golden Globes ceremony.
Rain, snow, and everything in between are in the forecast today. I'll have more information coming up.